Twitch.tv has banned streaming of adult-only games just in time for the release of Destructive Creations game Hatred. Post where you stand in the comments below, but first, my opinion. I'm Tarmack, and this is Feature Creep. Hatred got more than its fair share of free controversy press despite ending up to be a mediocre twin-stick shooter. Media outlets everywhere have written a large amount of clickbait talking about just how terrible the game is, and I can't throw stones too far, being one who has done some content on the Hatred issue, though admittedly I didn't pull the moral crusade that many were calling for. It's safe to say that despite it being from a brand new studio, the game is the highest profile Unreal 4 game to date. The controversy has gone all the way from those media stories through Valve removing Hatred from Steam only to be put back after Gabe became aware of what was going on. I suspect that somebody may have gotten their wrist slapped because the removal was in stark contrast to the usual hands-off approach that Valve likes to maintain. But I was surprised when Twitch TV decided to, within a week of the Hatred launch, decide that now was the time to ban adult-only games. Twitch has since clarified their stance to specify that this is only including games rated adult-only by the ESRB in the United States, and mature versions of AO games like GTA San Andreas are totally fine to stream. Now, clearly, the move is entirely being done to avoid the inevitable media stories and drama that would occur as a large contingent of the video game public began streaming Hatred the moment that it's released. It's not really worth watching, but the high-profile nature means that there's a big audience for it. Why is it clear? Because Twitch specified ESRB adults only and has entirely left alone online for-profit poker, which by its very nature has to be adults only. The ESRB adults only rating includes gambling with real currency. This makes the motive clear enough in my mind. If it was really being done to protect the children, the focus wouldn't be so narrow. And you know, I have a bit of sympathy for Twitch. They shouldn't be held to the coals by media outlets because of gamers streaming Hatred, but they would whether we agree with the situation or not. I do feel that their position of power does come with a bit of responsibility to do what is right, and I don't think that this is right. The problem is that by pushing Hatred and other AO games off of the platform, Twitch is making the statement that video games are for children. Now, I'm using the term children really loosely, and I don't want to offend those in the mid and high teens with that term, so what I'm talking about here is directed at the under 18 category. This whole issue showcases really nicely where the ESRB ratings fall apart. Mature games on Twitch are totally fine because if they weren't, Twitch wouldn't be in business. M-rated games are appropriate by the ESRB for ages 17 and above. Adult-only games are for 18 and above. We're talking a 1-year difference between totally fine and banned outright. Gamers as a community have been battling the idea that games are for kids constantly over the last 20 years and longer. Even today, despite the video game industry being larger than movies, we just can't seem to admit that some games aren't for kids, and that's okay. Twitch already has an age filter that can be enabled, so where's the problem that they're solving here? Obviously, there's only so much harm that this change can do. The list of games rated adult only by the ESRB is very, very small, like around 25 to 30 titles in total. It sets an unfortunate precedent, though, from Twitch, one of the groups who is supposed to really understand gaming. Remember, the average age of gamers is around 31. If the ESA study is to be believed, and I see no reason why it wouldn't be, only 29% of gamers are under the age of 18. Let's reverse that. 71% of all gamers can legally buy, play, and do whatever the hell they want with adult-only games, but instead it was more important for Twitch to prevent Hatred from getting a bit more airtime. Is this starting to sound a little weird yet? This whole situation has been managed wrong in my view. Twitch should have simply posted a list of what games require a mature filter, enforce it through the game selection options, let people get suspensions or other punishments for playing without the mature filter enabled for those games. Hell, even Steam seems to be fine with adult-only games now. Hatred got through, and apparently there's a visual novel going through Greenlight called Discouraged Workers. A suggestive title if I've ever heard one. It's long past time for the game industry to grow up, and we did, but for some reason big corporate is too afraid to join us. You can be offended all you want about whatever you want, violence, sex, drugs, but the fact of the matter is that a huge number of adults engage in the hobby of video games, and pretending that adults need to be babysat by industry and government over what types of media they choose to consume is ridiculous. And the really silly thing is that in all likelihood, the primary audience for Hatred is going to be people under 18 who are pushing back against the fake controversy about this supposedly terribly offensive adult-only game that they're not supposed to be able to play. I have to say though, I'm actually really happy about the Hatred situation for one particular reason. Barring Manhunt 2, which most people have never played and those who have forgotten about by now, Hatred has done one thing for us that was missing. For the first time in a long time, we're talking about adult-only games without it being about sex games. And that's progress of a kind. So, what do you think about the whole Twitch situation? Only about 12% of my audience is under 18, but I'd love to hear from all of you, whether you're young or whether you're not so young. Drop me a line down below. Feature Creep is a weekly show every Monday. If it's not too much to ask, sharing any of my videos around social media like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, Tumblr, etc. It's always nice, but barring that, I just hope that you enjoyed it. That's all I have to say. Tarmack out.